Hey everybody, it's Mr. Citron, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how to live sustainably while gardening and taking care of your lawn. So as I mentioned to you, I don't do very much to my property other than put my guinea pig's poop throughout the lawn, which is great fertilizer. I also don't use any power tools, which use lots of energy, pollute, and are incredibly noisy. I have right here something that I purchased a while ago, and this is a human-propelled lawnmower. It gets me in great shape. It's really quiet. It's fairly karmic, and I use this to mow my lawn. In my district or my area, you have to keep your lawn at a certain height. Otherwise, you get a violation, which I think is fairly obnoxious. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how one can do this. I also have property in the back, which I also mow using this device. Most people around here don't use something like this, and I'm not really sure quite why. It is like a free health club. It's really good for the environment, and something like this can last, almost 20 years. I've had this thing for about 10 years. I sharpen the blades myself, and everything I do on my property is usually using tools that don't require any fossil fuels. I also am going to show you that there are a lot of leaves on the ground, and what I am going to do with this device is also I'm going to mulch these leaves so they're broken into really small particulate matter. It's actually really not particulate, but very small, into very small pieces, which add to fertilizing my property, or the grass that grows here. You'll also notice that I do not have a monocrop. There are a variety of things that are growing on my lawn, and that's to encourage biodiversity. And you'll also notice right in front of me is a butterfly bush. This thing is incredibly durable. It's been knocked down several times during several storms. I just replanted, and it is phenomenal. During migration, during butterfly migration periods, for one thing, it flowers purple, and when you see all these different kinds of butterflies, obviously monarchs will come to this plant. It's like magical. It's something that almost feels like an animation. There's so many different colors, and they're moving. Again, a lot of people don't really recognize the need to create this kind of environment, this kind of floral environment for the proliferation and the protection and the abundance of pollinators. And so I'm really fairly conscious of that. So I'm just going to walk and show you what I'm going to do, show you what I do to maintain my health and the environment, encouraging sustainable living. Okay, so let's get ready. I just finished mowing my lawn, and I have to say that felt great. Now, probably the only real noise that you heard was me grunting, and although that might be fairly disturbing, it feels good to grunt doing something sustainable. In fact, sustainable! That's the way you should say it, which means that you're really working at being sustainable. And I want you to look at what it looks like now. It looks nearly as nice as my neighbor. My neighbor Tony, who we disagree with, who I disagree with. My wife does as well. His lawn in fact, his lawn looks like a carpet. And we can't have things in nature look like things inside our homes. And the lesson that we're going to learn, or we do know, is that we can't replicate what's inside our homes in this very artificial, industrial, materialistic, as well as super unhealthy ways outside of our homes. Nature is, by design, can be very chaotic. That chaos, which we sometimes perceive as being super dangerous and unhealthy, is really, when you study it scientifically, is part of the mechanisms that sustain biodiversity. We're going to see things move in and out of communities. We're going to see a lot of diversity. We're going to see insects that we don't normally want to ever have any contact with. In fact, they are super necessary. We can't really control nature in the way that we think we can. We can live with it in harmony if there is some recognition of how to do that. What I just did is mowed my lawn just using me and a push mower.